Hello students, myself Vinita Kumbhar, teacher in Department of Mathematics, DVS Ferguson College Pune. Welcome you all. In the previous session, we have learned the inverse trigonometric functions, that is sine inverse, cos inverse and tan inverse. In today's lecture, we study the remaining inverse functions. Let us study the inverse function of cosec x, that is fx is equal to cosec x is the function. We are finding its inverse, that is cosec inverse x we are finding, or cosec inverse, any variable you can use in the function. For these intervals, cosec inverse is defined. The domain of cosec inverse is from the set of reals we exclude the open interval -1 to 1, and this is the range from the closed interval -π/2 to π/2 we exclude 0. See, this will be clear if you study the graphs in detail. Now look at the graph, which is cosec x. Consider this interval r minus open interval -1 to 1. Okay. Now here this is on y-axis. R minus open interval -1 to 1 is on y-axis. The branches of the graphs is not coming in this part. Are you getting? It takes the value from 1 towards the positive y-axis and from -1 towards the negative y-axis. So we exclude this part, which is nothing but the open interval -1 to 1. So from the set of reals we exclude that interval, and if you consider this interval, closed interval -π/2 to π/2. Look at this, -π/2 to π/2 minus singleton 0 means from this interval you will have to exclude 0. Why? Because if we consider 0 value here on this line, the graph never touch. Therefore, there is no corresponding value of y. So we exclude 0 from this interval. Clear an idea? So we define the function as 1, 1 function for this branch. Or you may be having this branch also, you may be having this branch also, you may be having this branch or this branch. For each of the intervals, these different branches becomes 1, 1 and on to. Therefore, we can define the inverse function. So, what are those intervals? Let us see. -π/2 to π/2, and we'll have to exclude singleton 0, that I already explained. Now π/2 to 3π/2. Look at π/2 to 3π/2 is this interval. From that we'll have to exclude pi. See, this is the value pi on x-axis. Here on this line the graph never touch. Therefore, there is no corresponding value of y. Therefore, we discard that. This value we discard. Now -3π/2 to -π/2. Look at this. In this interval, we will get this branch, right? From -3π/2 to -π/2, we have this branch, and if I draw the horizontal lines, then the horizontal line every time cuts the graph in only one point. Therefore, the function is 1, 1 function. But for -π, the graph never touch this line. Therefore, we exclude -π from this interval -3π/2 to -π/2. So for all these intervals, the branches are 1, 1 and on to. Therefore, we can define the inverse of cosec for all these intervals. But as I told you, we are interested only in the principal value branch. Therefore, we consider the interval, closed interval, -π/2 to π/2, excluding 0. Clear? Which is called as the principal value branch. Thus, we define cosec inverse as the inverse function of cosec from r minus open interval -1 to 1 2 minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, the closed interval, minus singleton 0. Okay, or the another notation is what? If y is equal to cosec x, then x is equal to cosec inverse y. Now we are interested in the graph of inverse cosecant function. Now the domain and the range, from this we'll have to interchange on this graph. Clear? So if we consider minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. See, minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, this darkened branch. Minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, and this singleton 0, we are excluding. Okay. Similarly, you consider for the other branches, this is also the darkened part. So with this domain and the range, by interchanging, you will get the graph of inverse cosecant function. Clear? Now the next is inverse secant function. We are finding the inverse of sec function. Here sec function is defined for 0 comma pi, close interval 0 comma pi minus singleton pi by 2, and this is the range for secant function r minus the open interval minus 1 to 1. Here we already restricted the domain, so let us have the graph of sec function. Look at the interval 0 to pi. So we consider x is equal to 0, this one, 0 to pi. Look at this interval. In this interval, this darkened branch is 1, 1 and on 2. Getting it? But for pi by 2, see, this is the angle pi by 2. If I draw the line here, this at this point or on this line, this branch never cuts the line. Therefore, there is no corresponding value of y. So we exclude pi by 2 from which interval? 0 to pi. Getting? And what about this is r minus the open interval minus 1 to 1. This is the number line having all the reals. From that we exclude the open interval minus 1 to 1. Why? Because here this part of the graph in different intervals. See, this one also, this is also, or you may consider this and this. The branches starts taking the values from 1 towards positive y-axis and from minus 1 towards negative y-axis. And what about these? These are at these points we don't have the part of the graph. Therefore, this part we exclude from the set of reals. Therefore, the range for the sec function is r minus 1 to 1, that is the open interval minus 1 to 1. Okay. Now, as I told you, we find the inverse of sec by interchanging the domain and the range. Range becomes domain and the domain becomes the range of the function. Now we see the graph of y equal to sec inverse x. So again the same thing, you'll have to interchange the domain and the range from this function and plot the graph on the another graph paper. You will get an idea. Okay? But actually plotting of the graph is not very important. Understanding is very important with the graph. Don't by heart all these values. Just look at the graph and try to find the domain and the range for inverse functions. Are you getting? So here, see, this is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 or pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, that comes, all the angles comes on y-axis and these values comes on the x-axis, or you can say the lines which are parallel to x-axis. And by interchanging the domain and the range for this, you can find the inverse of sec. Okay. Now let us consider one example. Sec pi is equal to minus 1. Let us check whether pi and minus 1 satisfies the given condition or not. This minus 1 belongs to the set of real numbers. From set of real numbers, you will have to exclude the open interval -1 to 1. Check whether this -1 belongs to this interval or not. If yes, then go to find the checking this condition. Pi belongs to 0 comma pi, the closed interval, minus singleton pi by 2. Okay. This pi means 180 degrees. This 180 degrees obviously belongs to this interval, the closed interval 0 to pi minus singleton pi by 2. So, sec inverse of -1, we apply the definition. Sec inverse of -1 is equal to pi. So, the principal value of sec inverse of -1 is pi. That is the answer you got. Now, like in the previous inverse functions, we wrote the two rules, you can say, which are sec of sec inverse x is x for x belonging to R minus open interval -1 to 1, and sec inverse of sec inverse y. Actually, this should be sec of. So, we write this as sec of. This is sec of sec inverse, and we write this as sec inverse of sec y. Okay, and this is again y for y belonging to the closed interval 0 comma pi minus singleton pi by 2. Getting? So these two are very, very important. Sec of sec inverse x is x, and sec inverse of sec of y is also y. So please remember these two as a rule. Now inverse cotangent functions. Now consider the function cot from the open interval 0 to pi to the set of reals. Okay. Here we already restricted the domain, that is 0 to pi is the restricted domain, and this is the range. Look at the interval 0 to pi. See, this is the interval 0 to pi, open interval. Means you'll have to exclude 0 and pi here. Now from the graph it is clear that this graph never touch the y-axis or the lines which are parallel to y-axis. Therefore, these points we exclude, and which is nothing but the open interval 0 to pi. Now this branch, if I consider the vertical lines, if I draw the vertical lines, those vertical lines cuts the graph every time in only one point. Therefore, the function is 1, 1 function, and it is already onto function. Therefore, for this branch within this interval, we can define the inverse function. Similarly, for this also it is possible to define the inverse function. So, we consider cot inverse as you will have to interchange the domain and the range. Their positions will have to interchange. So, this range becomes the domain and the domain becomes the range. Thus, we define cot inverse, the function from set of reals to the open interval 0 comma pi. Are you getting? See, with the graph it is very, very easy. Now, let us see what is the graph of y equal to cot inverse x. Now, this is known to you. I already explained. With this, we are drawing the graph of cot inverse x. Now, this principal branch we consider from the open interval 0 to pi. So, here we consider this is 0 to pi, means this branch we will have to consider. So, inverse of this branch is nothing but this darkened branch. The interval is open interval 0 to pi. Here this is the interval, open interval 0 to pi, and we will have to find out the domain and the range for the inverse function. From the graph also it is possible. Clear? So this is about y equal to cot inverse x. Let us have one example. X belongs to R and theta belongs to the open interval 0 comma pi. Then we write cot inverse x is theta if cot theta equal to x. This you know with the notations. The example is cot pi by 3 is equal to 1 upon root 3. This we know. Tan 60 degrees is equal to root 3 we know. Therefore, cot 60 degrees is equal to 1 upon root 3. Now you will have to check what are the conditions. X must belong to R. Check whether 1 upon root 3 belongs to R. Yes. Now, what about the angle theta? Theta must belongs to the open interval 0 comma pi. So pi by 3 means it is 60 degrees. 60 degrees belongs to the open interval 0 comma pi. Therefore, we can write cot inverse 1 upon root 3 is equal to pi by 3. Right? Therefore, the principal value of cot inverse 1 upon root 3 is pi by 3. So, if you remember all the examples, in each and every example, every time we checked the conditions for x as well as for theta. So it is very important to remember the domain and the range of the inverse function. And as I told you in the previous inverse trigonometric functions we wrote, cot of cot inverse x is x for x belonging to R, and cot inverse of cot y is y for y belonging to the open interval 0 comma pi. Clear? Now this table is very important to remember. Once again I repeat, the principal values of inverse trigonometric functions. You are asked to remember only principal values, not the remaining intervals. Though for the remaining intervals we got the 1, 1 and onto functions. I mean the inverse exists. The following table shows the domain and the range of all inverse functions. The value of function in the range is called as the principal value of the function. This name you will have to remember. That is the principal value of the function. So we repeat the things. This is for sine inverse. The domain of sine inverse is the closed interval -1 to 1. Now this we'll have to fix in mind. And the range is closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay? Now for cos inverse, the domain is closed interval -1 to 1 and the range is closed interval 0 comma pi. For tan inverse, the domain is set of reals and the range is open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Right? Now sec inverse. For sec inverse, the domain is this interval. From the set of reals, we exclude the values in the interval, open interval -1 to 1, and the range is the closed interval 0 comma pi, no doubt, but we will have to exclude singleton pi by 2. Single value we will have to exclude from this set. Okay. Number 5. We remember now the domain and the range for cosec inverse. The domain is R minus the open interval -1 to 1. The same thing again, from the set of reals, we exclude the open interval -1. This is the method to write down the interval. Excluding we are showing by putting minus sign. So R minus -1 to 1, that is the open interval -1 to 1. The range is the closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 except 0. So we denote that by putting minus sign, and this is the set singleton 0. For cot inverse, the range domain of the cot inverse is the set of reals and the range is the open interval 0 comma pi. So keeping all these things in mind and few more properties, we are trying the sums. Now remember, as I told you in the very first lecture, in my introductory lecture, that we don't have the proofs of the properties of inverse trigonometric functions. So we remember only the conclusions or remember only the properties. Okay. The first one is very important. Sine inverse x is equal to cosec inverse 1 upon x. Important condition is what? X is less than equals 1, greater than or equal to -1, and x is not equal to 0. The proofs we are not interested, but if you are interested, go through the lines which are given in the textbook. remember the property. Okay. Second, cos inverse x is sec inverse 1 upon x. The conditions we'll have to remember: x is less than equals 1, greater than or equal to minus 1, and x is not equal to 0. Number 3, tan inverse x is equal to cot inverse 1 upon x. Don't write tan inverse x as 1 upon cot inverse x. Please don't make the confusion. These you will have to read thoroughly. Tan inverse x is equal to cot inverse 1 upon x, and the condition is x greater than 0. Similarly, we can write cot inverse x as tan inverse 1 upon x. Here we can write sec inverse x as cos inverse 1 upon x. Here we can write cosec inverse x as sin inverse 1 upon x. So do remember all these things. Now tan inverse x. We are having two rules here. Tan inverse x is cot inverse 1 upon x, and one more is tan inverse x is equal to minus pi plus cot inverse 1 upon x. But the condition is x is less than 0. So here we will have to remember these two conditions. For x positive, we have tan inverse x cot inverse 1 upon x. And if x is negative, we have tan inverse x as minus pi plus cot inverse 1 upon x. Number 5, sin inverse of minus x is equal to minus sin inverse x if x is less than equal to 1, greater than or equal to minus 1. Tan inverse of minus x is equal to minus tan inverse x if x belongs to R. X is any real number, then this property holds good. That is, tan inverse of minus x is minus tan inverse x. The next is 7th one. Cosec inverse minus x is equal to minus cosec inverse x. This mod x is greater than or equal to 1. See, all these properties or the rules, you can say, you'll have to remember with the conditions. The conditions are very, very important. Next is number 8. Cos inverse minus x is equal to pi minus cos inverse x if x is less than equals 1, greater than or equal to minus 1. This is very important. Make it a point. So these three are written together so that you can remember this very easily. For sin inverse of minus x, tan inverse of minus x, and cosec inverse of minus x, all those signs comes outside, and we can write minus sin inverse x, minus tan inverse x, and minus cosec inverse x. Now for cos inverse of minus x, we have pi minus cos inverse x less than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to minus 1. Number 9. Sec inverse of minus x is equal to pi minus sec inverse x if mod x is greater than or equal to 1, and cot inverse of minus x is equal to pi minus cot inverse x, and here x belongs to R. Okay. Now you'll have to read all these things or all the properties every day, then only you can by heart this. Otherwise solving sums becomes very, very difficult. Now few more properties we have. Sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is equal to pi by 2. This is an identity. Remember, all these properties we can use in calculus to solve the integrations or the derivatives very easily. So you must be very perfect not only in the trigonometry but in inverse trigonometry as well. So this is the first identity, you can say, sin inverse x plus cos inverse x is equal to pi by 2. X is less than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to minus 1. Then second identity, sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x is again pi by 2. Mod x is greater than or equal to 1. Tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is equal to pi by 2. This is for x belonging to R. See how these are used in the calculus. Suppose you are asked to find the derivative of sine inverse x plus cos inverse x. No need to find the derivative of sine inverse and cos inverse separately and then their addition. Actually, you will get the same answer, no doubt, but takes much of time. But if you remember this property, you write y is equal to pi by 2 and pi by 2 is a constant, therefore its derivative is 0. Similarly for the remaining thing. Those may be asked in MCQs, you'll have to remember. Derivative of sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x. We write derivative of pi by 2 which is equal to 0. No need to find the actual derivative and then their addition and then simplification and coming to the final answer. Okay, so these three are very important. As an identity we remember sine inverse x plus cos inverse x pi by 2, sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x pi by 2, tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is equal to pi by 2. Remember the pairs. Okay, now the next is tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy. Remember the condition is very important. X and y both are positive and xy is less than 1. This product xy must be less than 1. Then only we can apply the rule. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y upon 1 minus xy. Okay. 15th one. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y. We are having the same addition of the inverse functions. But this is pi plus tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy. This condition also remains the same. The only change is xy, the product xy is greater than 1. If this product xy is greater than 1, then we have tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to pi plus tan inverse of x plus y upon 1 minus xy. Right? Now the next, tan inverse x minus tan inverse y. So here you may put the bracket or you may not put the bracket, makes no difference. For here, if you are not putting the brackets, makes no difference. Now we have tan inverse x minus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse x minus y upon 1 plus xy. Here the condition is only on x and y. X greater than 0 and y greater than 0. The next is 2 tan inverse x is always sine inverse 2x upon 1 plus x square. 2 tan inverse x is equal to sine inverse 2x upon 1 plus x square for the condition mod x less than equals 1. Okay. Next is 2 tan inverse x is equal to cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square. Here x is greater than or equal to 0. So we are having three different formulae for 2 tan inverse x. And the last one is 2 tan inverse x is equal to tan inverse 2x upon 1 minus x square. And the condition is what? X is strictly less than 1 and greater than minus 1. I hope you have understood all the properties of the inverse trigonometric functions. The only thing is we will have to revise all those again and again. Thank you.